Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and I have the pleasure of welcoming Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh for this special weekly segment. Without any delay, let us begin first of all by welcoming you, Dr. Sudhir Parikh. Ji, namaste. Swagat.
Namaskar.
Um, a lot has happened, and especially if we look towards yesterday, um, there were cases filed against White House decision related to visa for foreign students. You want to say something about the outcome so far by White House having rescinded that decision?
I think we all should welcome this rescinding of the decision about college students online or offline education and in connection with the visa. So I would welcome wholeheartedly, and that will really give big relief to the foreign students, almost 2 million of them who are in the USA taking education from the different institute.
This really caused a sort of a panic for many students facing uncertainty as well as their families. And this again brought to center the discussion about President Trump's approach towards immigrant community. Do you see that would have some impact on the upcoming elections in terms of the way he's perceived?
I'm not sure because this kind of decision is not a very wise decision, and it is not popular decision, or it is not welcomed by most of the immigrants. But its impact on the election, I'm not sure, because election is still 4 months away, and election has a lot of other burning issue like pandemic, economics, and so forth. So I think those are the will be main issue will decide the election, not this foreign student concern.
Absolutely. And there is a new ray of hope with respect to having reached very close to a vaccine which would help us take care of COVID-19 in US. There are some clinical trials on way right now. What would you add to this information?
Well, I mean, there is a kind of good news from the vaccine maker called Moderna today, this morning. But again, it's a premature because it's only the trial of the only 18 patients. They found some positive, encouraging data, but that is not good enough or that does not tell you or tell us that vaccine is a breakthrough is imminent or it will be ready shortly. No, because now they have to go through very large trial for next couple of months and 3 months, and then the review of the data, and then if there is a good encouraging data, then we can say that there is a vaccine is very nearby. I mean, very close by or in near future. But right now, from today's news, it's a good news, but it's kind of it's a good news, but it's not. Still, we don't have to open the champagne to celebrate.
I think very well said. And in this context, I take you to India. And last week we heard about many important personalities, including Amitabh Bachchan, his son and his daughter-in-law, and probably one more member of the family were found positive, and some other celebrities. So that brings this question: nobody is safe. And then when this was disclosed, Health Minister of India also tweeted in support, or rather with sympathy for Amitabh Bachchan. What would you like to say? Because Amitabh Bachchan has been quite vocal in making people aware that they should be cautious?
Well, I think I must first I must pray for Amitabh Bachchan and his son Abhishek Bachchan, as well as a whole family speedy recovery. Luckily, they are all are in the kind of what we call it quote unquote mild form of the COVID. So I'm sure in the next few days they will be out from the hospital and back home with the normal life, routine life. So I think let's hope for that. But again, by Amitabh Bachchan himself declaring this thing, because he's well respected, he's a kind of superstar of the country. So by self declaring, he told everyone indirectly that COVID virus does not discriminate rich or famous, whether you're rich or poor, you're famous or not so famous. COVID virus can happen to anyone and everyone if you are not cautious. So, so the bottom line message is: doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor, famous or not famous. Be safe and be smart.
So being smart also takes us to taking advantage of the available statistics. In India, the recovery rate as per Indian government is 63.24%. Do you see that at par with what should be expected based on the other countries?
Well, I mean, it's a good recovery rate, but we don't know. We don't know. There are some factors affect. I mean, factors playing role there. Number one, still the testing is not enough. Number two, so we don't know the number of cases are 9 lakhs or 12 lakhs. And, then number two, the population, 35% of the population is very young population. So we know as a medical doctor that COVID virus usually does not affect the young people that badly. And usually they recover without any much medical intervention. So, and third thing is that because of tropical climate or because we all had BCG vaccine, whether that has any role to play in the severe degree of severity of the COVID virus, we do not know. So that could be the reason why the recovery rate is a little higher than compared to any Western countries.
So while the challenge of COVID-19 continues, other areas of activities are also visible in full swing. And in that context, talking about the political roller coaster ride that sometimes is witnessed, what we recently saw in Rajasthan, your take on whether you would say, as you are aware, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot managed to save his seat for now, but it was almost shaking because of the action taken by Sachin Pilot, who was till 2 3 days ago the Deputy Chief Minister of Rajasthan. Your comment on the overall development in Rajasthan politics?
Well, I mean, overall comment is, I mean, of course, in any democracy, we need a good, strong opposition too. So, in order to make democracy more vibrant. So, I mean, even though this is an internal matter of the Congress party, what it tells us that in Congress party still, I mean, the power and authority is in hand of few people, and that is not good sign for Congress party itself. And what Sachin Pilot's episode tell us that a lot of young Turk in the Congress party who works hard, who has a lot of different ideas than old veteran or leaders, and those ideas are in Congress party are not encouraged or not given any due importance. and therefore I think what happened is probably is expected, and I think, but they should let's see how it plays out, and hopefully in democracy, number is a final answer. So we'll see. My guess is that probably he will push Gehlot government to take the vote in the assembly, and that vote will decide whether what Sachin Pilot tries to play the political game is will be successful or not.
I think that's a fair analysis, but for now, two major developments with respect to Sachin Pilot. Looks like he didn't have enough numbers to support his claim to chief minister's seat, if I say that was his intent. But he has been dissatisfied the way things were designed for him by Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, and it seems he tried to convey this to the Ala Kaman or Gandhi family, and he wasn't given enough of attention on that front. Now, that brings us to the overall working of Congress. Something similar happened in Madhya Pradesh, and from various states, many Congress members are not happy. So, do you see Congress is likely to address it differently? Uh, and allow me to add that now uh, Sachin Pilot is no more the president of Rajasthan Congress, also, which means looks like whatever gamble he played has not worked in his favor so far.
Well, I'm not sure. I think still juries are out because still the whole saga has not concluded. And in democracy, always saga concludes definitely is in the assembly by having the votes. And if Gehlot has vote, then there's nothing you can do in democracy. You have to accept that. And if Gehlot doesn't have vote and government falls, then probably Sachin will have second chance to prove himself whether how capable he is. But
So,
again, this is internal matter of the Congress party. Uh, from outside, observer like us can see that Congress party is still in very old-fashioned, elderly control party or one family control party, which is not good for democracy. And they are not encouraging the young talent. That is also not good for the party.
So interestingly, you said this is not good for the democracy, and exact words by Chief Minister Rajasthan Ashok Gehlot. He said they were doing horse trading, and he blamed Sachin Pilot also working a hand and glove with BJP to topple his government, and he says that this is not good for the democracy. So, how do you view potential role that BJP might have already played or is playing in this process?
Well, I mean, it's very obvious that for acquiring the power, any party, those who are actively in the politics, they're going to play this game, right? I mean, directly or indirectly, because they also want to be back in the power. So, but right now, looks like BJP is little far, and Sachin Pilot doesn't have enough numbers of supporter. So that's why BJP is not coming out and do the obvious kind of game plan, you know. So or obvious posturing, and so I think it's a wait and watch game. Next 2-3 days will tell us where all this saga goes. It may be more exciting, or it may be just die down with the poor result, you know.
I like your analysis. Now, moving towards the other side related to Congress, there were some views expressed that uh, President Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi also have some difference of opinion, and Rahul Gandhi wants to go with the younger generation leaders, including Sachin Pilot, but he's not having enough of his say on those matters. Do you see that possibility playing out in Congress, and or do you see they might be working with some sort of uh, undercurrent understanding? When I say they, meaning Gandhi family.
No, I think what Jatinder Singh and Sachin Pilot or even other that Mohanta from the Assam, what they started is obvious thing that young generation are impatient and always younger people are always impatient than older one, right? And they are in hurry to do become something. And if they are not given enough encouragement or appreciation, this bound to happen. And I'm sure it will happen one day. There will be kind of clash between younger generation and older generation in Congress.
So now, looking at the time, I think we go by the idea that every churning brings some good results. So hopefully, we will have that result soon. But to conclude today's show, your final words from this edition for our viewers.
Well, again, dear friends, I would like to say that what we observed or what we witnessed with the Bachchan family that tell us that COVID virus is very dangerous. Does not discriminate whether you are rich or poor. Does not discriminate whether you are wealthy. I mean, you are famous or not famous. It can affect anyone. So be smart and stay safe and stay home. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Jai Hind. God bless America. God bless India. Thank you.